Hey, this is Ryan from Highly Suspect, and you're listening and watching to Linear Rock.
This one.
That camera? Oh, okay. Well, you didn't specify.
Okay.
Hi, this is Ryan from Highly Suspect, and you're listening and watching to Linear Rock.
Hi, Ryan.
Hi.
Welcome to Milano and welcome to Linear Rock.
Thank you, Barbara.
Cool. Okay. I love how you pronounce my name.
Did I say it right?
American. Yes. Okay.
Well, American would be Barbara.
Yeah.
But I'm trying.
Good. Okay, so you're here today playing in Milan at the Alcatraz, and really looking forward to see you in action. The Boy Who Died Wolf was your second album. Fantastic cinematic cover, which I have here on my back, that reminds me of the 80s movies, and even more fantastic content, musical content.
Thank you.
It was #1 on the current alternative album chart and #2 in the rock album of Billboard. And with the single My Name Is Human, you had a nominee to the Grammys. Mm-hmm. Did you expect all that from that album?
Who would? You know, no, I mean, I thought it would do good because I liked it a lot. I had a feeling that it would do good, but I didn't think it would go gold or get nominated for a Grammy.
Okay.
No.
So it was a surprise for you?
Yeah, totally. Not as much as a surprise as Lydia.
Okay.
Before that.
Yes.
Because when we got...
this was the third nominee you had at the Grammys, right?
Yeah. Yeah, Lydia was the first single to be nominated, and we were touring in a van to maybe 50 to 100 people every night. Wow. Maybe. And we were in a hotel room, like 6 of us. And I got a call from my public relations at like 7 a.m. I didn't expect that at all. I mean, maybe more now so that we've been more established.
Right.
But the first time that was the big one.
And actually, how does it feel to have your name, beside legends like David Bowie, Metallica, Coldplay, Radiohead? How does it feel?
I mean, what are words? I don't know how to say that, but it's David Bowie right before he died, or I mean, after he died, his last Grammy he could possibly get,
Right. And do you think that this is actually the best stepping stone to launch, your career? Definitely, even if you are actually an independent band, being nominated at the Grammys is something that it's good also for a band like yours, or can be like a double-edged sword.
Well, sure. I mean, it's promotion. Either way, okay. I don't see how it could be bad. I mean, bad promotion is good promotion, right?
Okay.
So, does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so is it true that you recorded the second album in Bogota, Colombia?
That's right.
In an hardcore ghetto?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
how was that an inspiring experience?
Let's see if I can do a better job of answering this question. Bogota has a special vibe, and it's so special they have a name for it. They call it magical realism, I believe, where the most incredible things that you could imagine come to reality. It's a very special place. Unexpected things happen all the time. We had armed security with us for our own safety. We were staying in the safest place, but it's still very military vibes.
Okay.
The police there are military. They're not regular cops. And where we were, we would travel to pockets of nice areas that were surrounded by ghetto. Mm-hmm. The studio we were in was across the street from, it looked exactly like, say, if you look at pictures of India and you see a big hill and it's just shacks on shacks on shacks, hardcore ghetto.
All right.
That's what we were across the street from.
Did that inspire some way the music and the songs? I'm sure that you arrived prepared in the studio. You were ready to record. But did you shape the songs there also?
It had an effect on some of the stuff. There's one song called Postres that definitely the lyrics were inspired by us learning and speaking broken Spanish while we were there and eating desserts, you know?
Right.
But I think mostly we went there to just kind of evolve as people and be out of our comfort zones, you know? Watching third world countries, I'm sorry, it's an emerging market, but essentially the same thing. There's like a really intense poverty, and when you see it on TV, it means one thing. It's kind of like, oh, there's a picture.
Right.
But when you actually see it, you can kind of feel it.
Right. The album sounds very, very well produced and expresses like a modern alternative feel to it. And also all the shades of emotions that, you know, all the songs deliver. Your sound, though, is very dry and thin, with a certain punk attitude. In fact, you decided to be a trio. Does these two things actually go in conflict some way? How do you see that?
Well, I think the mix of the song can create a whole different tone of the music. If it's got that dangerous punk rock vibe in the lyrics and the structure of the way you know, like the guitar riffs and the style of drums, then you don't really want that full sound because it'll just sound like it won't sound authentic.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
Because some of the songs are mixed thin on the record, but other songs like My Name is Human or Little One, those are very thick and full, and there's a lot of synth undertones and tons of other, you know, instruments that I don't even know the name of that were put on that to fill it up. But those were used for radio.
Do you ever fear that some of those songs that are, you know, overproduced maybe cannot come out live the proper way? Did it ever happen, like with My Name is Human?
Yes and no. I think live is totally different. I think a lot of bands, and maybe we will one day, go for the exact sound that they have in the record. Yeah. And in order to do that, they use computers. The drummer has a click in his ear. Right. or they play the samples, and it's just you're basically playing along to the song. I think live, if you're having fun on stage and you're playing your heart out, people will feel that. Yeah. You know, I mean, for example, we played a show in Berlin earlier in the week, and our monitors were so bad. I could not hear anything. The only thing I could hear was coming off the wall in the back. Wow. So there was a delay. Yeah. So I basically had no idea where the guys were. So I was just playing from memory and counting in my head. Wow. The performance was pretty rough, but we were having fun. Yeah. And the crowd was having a blast. It was one of the best shows for the crowd. Wow. So.
You never know.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think if you're having a good time, that people will have a good. That's the key.
Okay.
No one wants to pay to see a band just play the songs and not want to be there, you know?
Right. You've been compared to Muse and Royal Blood and defined new rock. Do you think it fits? What is your vision? And actually, pure, you know, classic rock diehard fans hate new rock. They say, you know, this is not rock. This is way too modern. This is too produced. And so, how do you react to that?
I think the true rock that they're talking about was progressive at one time. Okay. And before that, there was people saying that the rock that they now say is true rock and roll was not real rock and roll. There's always going to be a generation saying that the next generation is doing it wrong.
Right.
But the next generation is the one that is pushing it forward and pushing the boundaries. Like in American television, now there's swear words. I won't say them.
Okay.
But there's now, there's certain words on TV. Mm-hmm. When I was growing up,
you could not even think about it.
Exactly. I mean, people evolve. That's what we do naturally as human beings. And so does our music.
Do you think that Muse and Royal Blood are two names that you can name as influences, or is something that just other things?
Muse, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think we're influenced by Royal Blood.
Okay.
But Muse was...
All right.
Yeah, for sure.
And also the spirit of Nirvana and Kurt Cobain is very strong in your music. So it is among your influences.
Definitely.
Okay. Have you ever been to a Nirvana concert?
That was before my time.
Okay. My Name is Human, which we already mentioned, is also an amazing video, which reached 24 million views and counting. It's actually an unbelievable result. From the band, there's only Johnny in the video. Mm-hmm. Why that choice? Was that a precise choice? What's the concept behind it? And do you think that fits the message in the song perfectly?
I think so. I think it was a choice between us and the team that we work with.
Okay.
We had a very good producer on board that wanted to do that music video, and that's really what he wanted to do. And there was just no need for Rich and I to be in it.
Okay.
We all believe in making more art with the music videos that we do. Like the video for Little One, we're in it. Video for Bath Salts, we're in it. But if the concept doesn't involve any of us, like in our Lydia music video,
you're right.
There's no need for it. But what we don't want to do is play our instruments, like fake player instruments, to like in a concrete basement with water on the ground and lights and chains and looking tough. Like that's just not us.
All right.
We want to make small films.
Where did you film My Name is Human?
It was in Los Angeles.
Los Angeles, okay. Yeah. Was that an hangar or something like that?
In what?
Was that an hangar or something like that?
I have no idea where it was. I wasn't even there.
Okay, you didn't go.
No, we had just come off a long tour.
All right.
I could have been
there.
So
Johnny, you go. You're the only one in the video.
I mean, I could have gone, but there was I would have just stood around and watched, and I was too tired. I just wanted to go see my family and relax.
But within the band, who is the mastermind, for this kind of things, the image, the clothing, or actually the video script? Is there anybody in the trio that is more in charge of it?
Well, no one will ever tell Johnny what to do.
Okay.
So he's very much in charge of his own life.
All right.
And what he chooses to wear and what he chooses to do. But in terms of the overall image and the marketing of the band, he's very much the forefront of that.
Okay.
But we make decisions equally within the band for everything. We always have.
Again, concerning that video, is the pheasant, which is in the video, an actor? Because he was perfect and very quiet. I was surprised by Johnny and also by it.
Again, I don't know.
You don't know, all
no,
right.
I wasn't there.
Okay. And about the Lydia video, which you already mentioned, you were there?
I was there for that, yeah.
Okay. That comes from the first album, Mr. Asylum, and it's very intense and strong video as well. So was that your idea, or still the team is behind it?
Excuse me. That idea was one of maybe 50 scripts we went through. And, and we all agreed anonymously that concept best described the theme of the song.
All right.
Like being in a relationship that you can't get out of, or you know you need to get out of, and it's suffocating you. I mean, this woman is chained underwater.
Yeah.
By the way, she did that in one take, and she did many takes. Okay. It's been so long, I can't remember her name, which is a shame.
Yeah, you should, because
I should, but it's she's either Eastern European or Russian or somewhere from that area, and it's a very complicated name, and I lose it.
How did you contact her?
Marina?
All right.
I think her first name's Marina. She was working with the producers.
Okay.
She's a professional swimmer. She can hold her breath for up to 8 minutes.
Wow. So.
Yeah, she was going. Last time I saw her in Los Angeles, she was. We just ran into her randomly. She was going to go for the long distance. She was going for the longest underwater swim in the world. She was going to swim underwater with holding her breath. The longest distance. It's insane.
Okay. So we just talked about this second album, which came out actually 15 months ago already. Wow. It was November 2016.
Was it 15 months ago?
Yeah.
Wow.
It is. And so are you working already on some new songs?
Yes.
Or working on the road can be tough, or the other way around, can be inspiring?
Yeah, it's both.
Okay.
Actually. And we have kind of our own unique way of doing it.
Which is?
Well, so I've got this theory that it's so difficult to make a song that you're going to perform on a stage when you're in a studio like this, right?
Right.
It's sound controlled.
Yeah.
There's no screaming fans. Right. There's no lights. If we're not talking, it's dead quiet. Mm-hmm. So how do you just produce energy like that? When we're getting energy and feedback from the crowd, it's it like kind of incites creativity. So sometimes we'll just jam live.
Okay, so
fact,
that's the way.
We pretty much do that every show, and it slowly creates songs. We now have a few ideas that we work out every show.
And you record them?
No, they're just we just remember them.
Okay.
But you can get the energy from the crowd, the way that people move, the okay, this beat works because everyone's immediately bobbing their head.
Okay.
Like it's hard to get that if you're in a quiet studio. And so you create that on the stage, and then you go back in the studio with that idea and you refine it, and then you bring it back to the stage and you play it again, and then you kind of like test it and go back and forth.
So the crowd is the ultimate judge.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You play for them, also for yourself, but mainly for them. So that's cool.
And I mean, I feel like if I was a fan of the band, I would like that. I would love to watch my favorite musicians create the song that I like.
Not in a video, but in front of
you. Yeah, you feel. I mean, you become a part of that.
Right. That's cool.
Yeah, your energy influences that. So.
And did you decide already where you're gonna record next record? After Colombia was a good choice. So.
Yeah, it was intense. We also had to do.
Now
that.
You have to beat that.
I don't think we're gonna do another. I think we're gonna stay in America to do the record. But the thing was, we did that album so fast. I think I lost a few years of my life.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Also, we didn't realize that Bogota, we knew it was in the mountains, but I did not think it's 2 miles up. I don't know what that translates to in kilometers.
Okay.
But there's no air.
Oh,
so if you bend down to tie your shoe, and when you stand back up, you are out of breath. And I played drums for 8 hours a day for 2 weeks. So I don't want to do that again. I'm sorry, I just don't.
Tough experience.
Yeah,
Okay.
but it's a learning experience, and it was. I regret nothing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you released 2 albums, as we said, but also many singles and a couple of EPs. Is that a precise choice, considering how the music business and the market works nowadays, to have, EPs and singles more than, full-length albums?
Yeah, I think it depends on where you are as a band and as an artist. I think if you give too much at first, people can maybe get sick of you. Maybe you want to control how they see you in a way. I don't really focus on that. I just, I play the music, and then the way that we work with people that we trust and that kind of see things the way that we do, and you let them do their job.
Okay.
Yeah.
You started in Massachusetts, but then you moved to Brooklyn in 2009. What do you remember of those formative early days? And now that you are able to support yourselves on music, is it easier or more difficult?
Oh, it's definitely more enjoyable.
Okay.
You've done your research. Did it say?
I did.
Did it say what we were doing there in Massachusetts?
Well, you're talking about the naked parties and so on. That's the next question.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll get to that. Yeah, we were a cover band. We would bring in all of our own equipment. I ran the sound from behind the drums, and we would clear tables and chairs out of the way and set up, speakers on tripods and our own monitors and like little light trees with foot switches to control them. And then all the instruments, we'd bring it all in ourselves.
Oh.
And then we'd play for maybe 3 hours with a few breaks in between and just make people dance. We'd play like Michael Jackson or Bob Marley or Bob Seger.
Very mixed.
Yeah, everything. And
Okay.
Because we had to learn how to work the crowd from, when everyone's eating dinner, we start playing at like 9:30, 10 o'clock. Everyone's eating dinner. They're not really drunk yet. So you play stuff that's kind of like sort of exciting. And then you kind of slowly work them, much like a DJ.
Okay.
And you get them more excited, and then you start playing really, intense songs. And then by the time everyone's drunk at the end of the night, we're playing like Muse and the really good, like, the songs that people can really dance to.
And that's where the naked parties started?
Yeah. The naked parties actually, I think, started from, well, we had some friends. I won't put them on blast, but we have some friends in Los Angeles that convinced us to get naked and take mushrooms after a show.
Okay.
And then it was just kind of realized that like being naked is fun, and it's not sexual. It's like
all right.
It can be obviously, but it's more of just like, oh well, there's a penis, there's another body. Like it just becomes like, oh, this is what everybody looks like under their clothes, and it's actually very freeing.
All right.
Yeah.
Which are the pros and cons about having a brother in a band? I mean, actually a twin, which is in this case is even a stronger bond.
Yeah.
Rock history, tells us that the Gallagher stories didn't go very well, but the Young brothers in AC/DC stayed together like 40 years, so it can happen.
Yeah.
Can be functional or dysfunctional. How is it for you?
Very functional.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very functional.
I don't fight with Rich ever.
Okay.
Maybe once in a while we have a disagreement, but we are very close and don't argue.
Okay.
I think the only con would be that, at least in the early years when it was just the three of us doing everything, Johnny might have felt like an outsider in his own band. Mm-hmm. I know he did. But now we have a big family with us on the road all the time, and it's different. There's many people on stage working with us, and it's not so much Rich and I against Johnny anymore.
Okay, so it's more a family feeling. It's not just two brothers, you're all brothers.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. You come from a blue-collar background,
Yeah, that's right.
and you stated that your songs are inspired by real-life stories. Do you think that gives an extra kick in general to the songs? And which are your main influences in this sense? Any band that or any artist that put real stories in their music that really inspired you in this sense?
Well, I think anybody wants to relate. I think he's trying to get your attention. I think anyone wants to relate to a song.
Yeah.
There's a lot of love songs out there.
Okay.
But a lot of the things that Johnny has written about are things that are more broad than that, I think. Anxiety, the loss of a friend, things like that.
Yeah.
Those are really powerful things that people, I think if they look up to a musician, they think, oh, their life is perfect. They play these big stages, they tour the world. And then to hear that person that they look up to or listen to all the time actually has the same problems as everyone else.
Okay.
And it, makes them feel a certain way, helps. We get a lot of messages from fans that are incredible, get incredible stories all the time of people that say that the songs help them through hard times, or some say that they've help them through suicidal thoughts or hard breakups. And man, that's just right there.
Okay,
That's
so
heavy.
we got 5 minutes left.
Sure, yeah.
And I have last 3 questions. One is very quick. Which are your favorite drummers that you consider your main inspiration?
Oh, wow, okay. Early days, Carter Beauford from the Dave Matthews Band actually was the only reason I listened to that band, because he's a phenomenal drummer. Danny Carey from Tool. Chad Smith for Hot Chili Peppers. Police. I read his book.
Stuart Copeland?
Stuart Copeland,
Wow.
Yeah, I had his snare drum for a little while too.
Yeah.
More recently, there's a couple of guys that play with Sonar kits. Benny Greb is an incredible instructor. And there's one more that I really want to say because he's Ash Sohn, ASHSOAN. He's a studio drummer, but he worked on the Adele records.
Okay.
He's worked with everybody. I think guys that have that are more focused on giving the song the right feel, and not just being like, look how fast I can go and look at my stick tricks and
look how many things I can do, how many feels, per minute.
That's not, like who cares? Like, I think it's really important to me as a drummer to play what the song needs, so that people can focus on the story. Like if I'm telling you a story like this and someone is behind me going like this, it's distracting. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's the same concept to me.
Okay, so very last thing. You have a lot of tattoos, which are a strong universal language, just like music. Is there any ink in particular that you have that has a special story behind that you want to share with us?
Sure.
Okay.
Most of my my tattoos are either very personal or they're just art that I liked.
Okay.
But I'll tell you a positive story. My knuckle tattoos are a little covered up right now, but they say "Good Life."
Wow.
At the time, I didn't realize that there is a brand in America for basically old men who play golf called The Good Life. I got these from New York when I was working in a restaurant as a barback and training to be a bartender and struggling. And we were all working and working and working and really trying to get a record deal so we could start touring. We needed support. And we were losing ground. And it was like a 6-month battle. We were behind on rent. We were behind on all the bills. I was 20 or 30 pounds underweight. I was just a zombie because all I did was work. I was always on my feet. I was depressed. I was exhausted and just struggling so hard in New York. And I had set up a week to take off from my job that I hated to go to Capitol Records in Los Angeles. And the day before we were set to leave, the Capitol Records went on a signing freeze. And they canceled the whole trip because they couldn't sign us. But I had already taken this time off. And so I was like, I have to get out of this job. I have to. I'm dying here.
Okay.
So I went to my home, Cape Cod, and I sat on the beach. It was beautiful. It was warm. And I was finally happy for the first time in months. And I just said, I don't care what happens after this, but I'm not going back to that job. And I quit while I was on the beach. I just sent my boss a text message.
Okay.
Just said, I'm sorry, I'm done. And we got back to New York, and I was like, okay, we're about to get kicked out of our apartment. I have no money. We're behind on all the bills. Our car is broken. I have no idea what we're gonna do, but I'm happy, and we're gonna make this happen. And like a day later, we got a phone call from our managers that say 300. I don't know where my jacket is. For our label over in America, 300.
Yes, entertainment. Yeah.
They loved us, and they wanted to send us a contract right there. And they said no. Our manager said no. We should meet them. So we went and played a show. We met them. Instantly hit it off. All became friends, and they wanted to make the signing memorable. So we used to play at this place called the Trash Bar in Brooklyn a lot. And as you can imagine, it was a trash bar. Yeah. And so we played the show, and it was maybe 100 people there. And the show was crazy. It was full, just sweat coming down from the walls, full of energy, amazing. And the whole place filed out into the bar in the front. And we signed our record contracts on a pool table. And the whole bar was screaming and cheering and drinking, and everyone, it was just like absolute mayhem. And then we found drugs, and we just stayed up all night partying. Wow. And then around like 10 a.m., we were like, let's go get breakfast. And we went and got breakfast and had more drinks. And I was finally just like through the roof. Yeah. Like I had won the Olympics. And I said, I'm finally living the good life, the life I want to live. And we just walked next door to the tattoo parlor, and I got these.
Wow. Good. Great story. Thanks very much for this story or other story, for your time today, and looking forward to see you tonight play at the Alcatraz. Just invite the people to come over tonight, the ones that still don't have a ticket. So how would you invite them to come?
Yeah, please come see us play at the Alcatraz. We'd love to have you. There's plenty of room. Come on down.
Thank you so much, Ryan.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ciao, everybody.
Ciao.
Yeah.
Let's drink some wine.